I have no faith in the new X-Men 97 series being good. Given Disney's previous track record of inserting the most blatant pandering garbage in their streaming shows, this is not going to be any different. The animation looks subpar, and I don't know what the heck is happening here. Is Wolverine's claws going to explode here, or did Gambit's powers change? Because last I recall, when Gambit transforms an object's potential energy into kinetic energy, they explode. Well, let's ask the head writer for the project, Bo DeMeo. Maybe he can explain it to us. Here, he says, "For me, it made sense once I met Julia and Eric Lewald and Larry Houston, who are the creators and directors of the original series, who are literally the best people you could possibly imagine, is they are so earnest and sincere as people. When you watch the series, I think what we remember about is that there is such an earnestness to all of the characters. Everyone's emotions are on full display. Everyone is sincere, and it's just when you meet the Lewalds and Larry, it's just like, oh, I totally get it." And so I think the challenge to me was honoring that earnestness, that emotional sincerity in the show, where it wasn't just about the big bad of the day. That was almost, in some cases, an afterthought. It was really about the relationship of this found family and how they cared about each other and had disagreements. And I always just come back whenever we're talking in the writer's room or we're talking to the directors. It's just like we have to have the earnest emotion in every scene, because I really do think that was the secret sauce to the original series. I don't know if improve would be a word I would use. I think that show is amazing in so many different ways. I think what I would say is that the generation who grew up watching that show, we have grown up and the world is a very different place than when the show was first made. And so it is more of a question of what does that show look like knowing what we know now? And
there's more.
I think one of my favorite parts was like they were truly interested in like what my experience as a black gay man was and how it was going to inform the story we were telling. And that to them was like, that is how we're going to make this authentic. And there it is, the holy grail, the secret formula. The well for this series was poisoned a long time ago. I don't get why it's so hard to just adapt something and keep it true to what made it great in the first place. The original X-Men series didn't even adapt the stories they covered word for word, but it kept the general spirit of those comics. And there are countless other series that have done the same thing. You got the Batman animated series, the Superman animated series, the Spider-Man animated series, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, the Spectacular Spider-Man, and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Absolute shame that both of those shows never got a third season, by the way. What made all of these shows great was that the writers respected the lore. They didn't feel the need to talk about their experience as a black gay man and then try to insert their own sensibilities into it. Kinda reminds me of the Witcher series. Lauren Hitchcock just utterly ruined that series with her tomfoolery. And that's another main writer that had no respect for the lore that she was adapting.
Pizza time.
You know, it's when you stray so far away from the source material to the point where people just don't care anymore. It's like being served pineapple pizza. I mean, sure, it might still be pizza, but it's not what you signed up for. At all. You want that nice, juicy pepperoni and sausage pizza. Know what I'm saying? You know that. I'm gonna stop before I make myself hungry. Now, some people think that the X-Men always had a woke message. This fine gentleman by the name of Caleb Royal says, "Seeing folks worried that X-Men 97 is going to be woke is making me laugh. You clearly never read the comics, nor watched the series from the 90s. It was woke before the phrase was ruined by racists. If your bigotry prevents you from watching it, good, the rest of us will." Well, Caleb, I hope you actually do watch it and not just virtual signal on Twitter to show how woke you are. Because virtual signaling doesn't make money. If it did, the Marvels wouldn't have been a box office bomb. Also, I don't think Caleb knows the history of the X-Men as well as he thinks he does. And I'll get to more on that in a bit. This fine gentleman says, woke equals minority in thing I like. So I can tell that this guy didn't watch the video and just immediately went to the common strawman argument that woke equals a minority existing. Hilarious thing is that this argument was addressed pretty early on in the video.
I know what you're doing. So I'm supposed to, with buck teeth and lip out, they made them black. That means I'm supposed to want to watch it. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. They're sick and tired of being gay baited. Just like me as a black person, I'm sick and tired of you turning everybody black thinking that that's going to make everything better. It doesn't make everything better. Just like when you promote Chadwick Boseman, and we can see his face on a poster over here, but as soon as you take it to China, you cover his face.
And the fun doesn't stop there. Oh no, sir. Even the Act Man got in on the business, saying, complaining about X-Men being woke is one of the funniest examples of media illiteracy I've ever seen on this site. And then I love this reply to him saying, you clearly have no idea what woke means, and the funny part is that you made a video about it years ago. And it wasn't just one, by the way, it was multiple videos about it. I covered one of them a while back, and the Actman was going in hard against the overt politics being injected into a lot of games. But I guess this is just another instance of him falling back on that. Regardless, both the Actman and the Caleb guy I mentioned earlier are wrong. And here's why. The X-Men weren't created to be some allegory for the civil rights movement like many failing news outlets would like you to believe. They were created because Stan Lee was tired of having to come up with some elaborate reason for why his new superheroes had their powers. Here it is from the man himself.
We didn't really talk that much about X-Men and how that came.
Oh, the X-Men, how I did. All right,
Yeah.
well, there's a funny story. You know, everything is a funny story.
Sure.
After I had done the Fantastic Four, the Hulk, Spider-Man, I think the X-Men came next. The X-Men and one other, I think Daredevil, they're about the same time. Anyway, I wanted to do another group of superheroes. But I was getting tired now of figuring out how they get their superpowers. I couldn't have everybody bitten by a radioactive spider or exposed to a gamma ray explosion. And I took the cowardly way out. I said to myself, why don't I just say they're mutants? They were born that way. We all know there are mutants in real life. There's a frog with 5 legs, things like that. So I won't have to think of new excuses. I'll get as many as I want, and yeah, he's a mutant, that's all.
So there you have it. The X-Men aren't woke. Well, up until recently they weren't. But now they're written by narcissistic activists, which is why I have no faith in a new series being good. But what do you think? Will it be good? You can let me know in the comments. Also leave a like if you enjoyed the video, it helps a lot. Thanks for watching.